Today, I'm coming with the latest immigration news on the public charge. We have been talking a lot of public charge, and there is an executive order about the public charge. But there is some development news on that public charge which forced me to make a new video to explain. Because through the executive order and the recent development, there are two things people need to understand. One is if you are inside the United States of America and you are processing to get a green card, and if you are outside of the United States, you are processing to get a green card. These are two things a little bit different, and I'm going to explain a bit. But let's start if you're outside of the United States. There was a famous form called DS5540 Public Charge Questionnaire Form. So we talked about that form. But right now, if you go to the Google search and type DS5540 Public Charge Questionnaire, it will tell you the form is currently unavailable. So if you go to the eforms.state.gov/forms, which is a main website, you can get a lot of forms for the Department of State, that form is not available. So why does that form not available? So this is part of more information about the court injunction, but also further development about the executive order, which I'm going to explain today. Welcome everyone. This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EBM Scholars. And again, this is EBM himself. And in case today is your first time to come to my YouTube channel, or you are a regular member but you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'm happy because we have reached 50,000 subscribers. So the next goal is to go to reach 100,000 subscribers. So I know 48% of my viewers of this channel are not subscribers. So please do that. Give me a favor and just subscribe. It will mean a lot and it will give me more energy. And remember to like the videos and share with your friends and colleagues so that they can be also able to get more updates. So let me continue with this particular information. So first of all, there are two types of forms. These forms are depending whether you are in America or you're outside of America. And these two forms, which you are supposed to do, they serve the same purpose. Form number one is called Form I-944, or famous called the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. This form, when the form starts with I, is the form which is processed within the United States. And that form is under the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And that form you are processing when you are doing adjustment of status or getting green card while you are in the United States. So when you are filling the adjustment of status form, Form I-485, you will be also required to fill the Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. But if you are outside of the United States, that is when they started the so-called the public charge questionnaire, where you are supposed to fill that form to prove that I'm going to the United States, but I'm not going to be a public reliable to the United States government. But now if you go for the DS5540 public charge questionnaire, that form is not available. But if you go and check for the Form I-944 Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, that form is still there. Why is that? Is there any difference between a processing green card while you are in the United States and outside when it comes to the public charge? Yes, there is a big difference. So let me take you back, first of all, on February 3rd. On February 3rd, I made a video and titled Public Charge in New Executive Order Will Not Be Removed. Only review and recommendations are to be examined. And on that day, February 3rd this year, President Biden came up with a 3 executive order. One of the executive orders said it was an executive order on restoring faith in our legal immigration systems and strengthening integration and inclusion efforts for new Americans. On that particular executive order, there are some of the sections addressing different items. One of the section was Section 4, was talking about immediate review of agents' actions on public charge. In that particular area, there are certain things they were discussed, like the departments, various departments, health and human services, housing, Department of State, Homeland Security, Attorney General should sit together and come with a recommendation steps to see how things will be. So they talk a lot of things. But one thing, it is the duration they were given. It says, within 60 days of date of this executive order, and the date of that executive order was February 3rd. So within the 60 days of this executive order, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall each submit a report to the President describing any agent's actions identified pursuant to subsection A, subsection 2 of this section, and any steps the agents intend to take or have taken consistent with the subsection 1, subsection A, subsection 3 of this section. So, 60 days, or from the February 3rd, 60 days is April 3rd. So that is 60 days. So this is the immediate review. So the immediate review we are talking about is supposed to appear on April 3rd. That will be the end of 60 days. And this is how it is, the immediate review of the public charge. By April 3rd, 2021, the executive order requires the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and heads of other relevant agencies as appropriate to review all agents' actions related to the implementation of this public charge ground of inadmissibility under Immigration and Nationality Act of Section 212, subsection A, subsection 4, and the related grounds of deportability, whatever. So in this particular area, in this review, up to this moment, so the filing requirements are unchanged. So there is no that from now everything has stopped. So there is unchanged. So because this executive order hasn't gone to remove the previous executive order which established this one. But there are two forms, as I've mentioned. There is the Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. So the executive order of the one I'm talking about does not change the current requirements to file a Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. While you are filing the Form I-485, the adjustment of status applications, you must also continue to file Form I-944. I'm repeating. The executive does not change. As I said, when you are filling the Form I, it means you are within the United States. So I want to separate the process. If you are inside the United States and you are doing adjustment of status, you have to file the Form I-485, adjustment of status application form. You will be required to fill also the Form I-944, declaration of self-sufficiency. You are still required. Although there are some court order, there are cases and everything is supposed to be that way. So this means that as of today, that because the executive order was signed on February 3rd, so from February 4th, the Department of Homeland Security public charge rule remains in effect, and the Form I-944 is currently required in all jurisdictions. That means the declaration of self-sufficiency for those who are doing adjustment of status, who are in the United States applying for the green card, they will continue to file and use the I-944. Even if the government is working on the process to maybe to remove it or to do other things, but you're supposed to file that one. And we hope this current experience remains the same, but the review of the public charge rules and the policy while is ongoing, they will be able to be removed or something will be able to change. So let's go to the another form, the public charge questionnaire. And I will talk also the public charge healthcare. There is the healthcare questionnaire. There is different kind of thing. But let's talk about the public charge DS5540. This I know everybody is waiting for because it captures people who are outside of the United States. And especially the DV lottery winners who are waiting for the interviews. DV 2020, I know there are still some waiting. DV 2021, DV 2022, whatever. So all these people need to know this. So we all know that the public charge, back in August 2020, Department of State announced that they would adhere to the injunction which was issued by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of the New York, the one which would not require people to fill the form DS 5540. So this requirement, if you are outside of the United States, at the moment, you are not allowed, you are not required to fill the public charge form. There is a lot about the issue of the background of the public charge and whether it's supposed to do or not. But at the moment, if you're outside of the United States, you are not required to fill the form public charge DS5540. But it hasn't been removed completely because we are waiting for review and other items. That is the reason why right now, if you go to search for the form DS5540 public charge questionnaire form, the form is currently unavailable. It has been unavailable even during the Trump administration. From that time, it has been out of that particular situation. So at the moment, we still not that one. So we'll be waiting whether it will be removed permanently or not. But there is something you need to understand. There is also the other form which is called the DS5541. The DS5541 is Immigrant Healthcare Questionnaire. This one was done under what is called the Presidential Proclamation 9945, which on October 4th, 2019, the president issued the Presidential Proclamation 9945 on what is called the suspension of entry of immigrants who will financially burden the United States health care system. So if you go to that particular form, still there is the preliminary injunction which has been issued by the U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon, halting the implementation of that presidential proclamation. But that particular injunction, the final decision hasn't been done yet. But the executive order, this executive order of President Biden, does not impact the healthy insurance proclamation, or the famous called the Presidential Proclamation number 9945, and the Trump era proclamation, which requires immigrant visa applicants to demonstrate that they can acquire health insurance within 30 days of entry or have the ability to pay for their foreseeable healthcare costs. So the Department of State proposed the form DS5541 to verify applicants complied with the insurance requirement. But still, even if there is a court to be enjoined, whatever, all those kind of the proclamation, the decision hasn't been done yet. So the injunction is still in place. But this one, the executive order hasn't removed this one. But in my opinion, not a legal opinion, my personal opinion is to remove, to allow the DS5541, the presidential proclamation about the immigrants healthcare questionnaire. That is easy to say. You can prove that you'll be able to get health insurance upon arriving in America within 30 days. You can prove that you have 500. I'm giving an example. That once you can have healthcare to start with, you'll get a job. It is easier to prove. But to prove about the overall, the public charge, that is a different ball game. because to prove that you are not going to be a public charge in America, you have to put a lot of things. You have to show what kind of income do you have, what are the assets do you have, in your education. They look so many things about that. So yeah, so it is a lot. So that one, I think it was a very big block. If it has to be implemented, is a block for many immigrants to be able to get the visa, to be able to come and prove that they are not public charge upon being in America. So up to this point, that is the latest immigration news on the public charge. And what I'm going to do, I will put the link of some of these particular explanation of the public charge and the updates from the further development about the immediate review of this public charge, and the final decision will be on April 3rd, when the Secretary of State, Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland, and heads of the department, they are coming with the report to the president, and the report will be put public. So at that moment, we'll be able to know exactly if the public charge and also the health will be able to be removed permanently. We'll know from there. But up to this moment, in very high-level summary, the public charge DS5540, if you're outside of the United States, you don't need to fill that form, which is a big relief for those who are processing the visa, maybe in March or whatever it is. But again, for those who are in the United States, they will be required to use the Declaration of Self-Sufficient, Form I-944, that will be able to do that. But again, something which you need to know is the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. While you are in the United States, if your spouse or whatever, you don't have that enough money, you can ask someone to be like a kind of like a co-sponsor on that. But the public charge, if you're outside, you don't need to use, oh, my mother, oh, my aunt. No, they want you as you to prove that. So you see, there is a big difference if you are in the United States and if you are outside of the United States. So those are some of the updates about the further development of the public charge and what you can expect on April 3rd this year, 2021. Thank you so much, each and everyone, for your continued support of the EBM Scholars. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you have done so. I really appreciate for your support and everything you have been able to give to my YouTube channel. Goodbye, everyone.